And once again, I'd like to welcome everybody back to the Buffalo History Channel. This is Doug Rupp, content curator. Thanks so much for watching and supporting and subscribing and liking and sharing all the videos. We appreciate your support. We were recently in Buffalo for the Juneteenth festival. Had a great time, got some great footage, got some great coverage, and the 50th anniversary is coming up next year, and we'll be definitely doing it up big. Of course, I'm a legacy of the Buffalo Juneteenth, as my dad was one of the original organizers, along with Bill Gator and the rest of the Build organization on Jefferson Avenue. So we're definitely going to be doing that up and giving it a real fitting tribute. But today we've got another tribute. A number of years ago, I happened to witness a amazing movement that happened in the city of Buffalo. It came right on the heels of the murder of Trayvon Martin back in 2012, and it just had everybody just, how it had everybody at, and everybody was talking about what do we do, and in the city of Buffalo, I remember on Facebook there was a lot of conversation surrounding it, and then a conversation came out to have a demonstration at City Hall, because one of the topics was that he was killed for wearing a hoodie and having a tea and pack of Skittles. And there was a thought of, does that make us threatening? Where does wearing a hoodie make us threatening? So a thought came about to do a hoodie march. We called it the Million Hoodie March. And I am proud to have the organizers of the Million Hoodie March, Ms. Davina Phillips, but local entrepreneur Giovanni Cicerone. I did say that right, Giovanni, right?
Yes.
Okay. And last but not least, this guy right here, Willie Pugh, fellow Bennett Tiger. And you also know him for his True Life parties. Him and Marlando have been doing for many, many years. And you also know him for pissing everybody off on Facebook day in and day out. And of course, we all, for the entertainment of myself and many others. And I'd like to welcome you all to the Buffalo History Channel.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doug. Thank you, brother.
Yes. All right. Also, let me say, and we'll talk about this later, Willie Pugh is also the co-host, along with Tony Littles, of Stop Me If I'm Lying. And I'm not sure if I'm gonna be able to stop him in this show, because I don't think he's gonna be lying about anything.
Not at all.
But we're here to talk about, we're gonna look back on the Million Hoodie March that took place in Buffalo, New York, on March 28th, 2012. And we got footage, and we'll be looking back on it as well. So I'll let anyone talk. I'm hearing myself in the background a little bit. I'm not sure who that's coming from.
Know what you can do, guys? Mute your mics until you talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll work. Yeah. If I can just say real quick, there is one other person that was a part of organizing this, and that's Cambridge Boyd. I don't think he's in or was able to make it, but definitely always want to, mention any of us.
Absolutely.
We're not able to participate or anything. So
absolutely. Yes, shout out to Cambridge Boyd. Absolutely.
Peace, brother Boyd. Love you, man. Definitely couldn't do it without you.
Absolutely. So who would like to start us off? Take us back to how you were feeling with the Trayvon Martin case and how it led up to the Million Hoodie March.
Start it off, Davina.
Well, as my co-organizers know, I have a lot of children. I have 5 sons. And I feel, for me, when that happened, that could have been any one of my children, any one of my boys. And I just remember my heart broke for his mother and his father. You expect that when your child goes to the store that they're going to come home safely. And I remember just feeling so upset, so angry. And that, I wanted to do something. to at least let the family know in our own way that we're with you. Um, but also to send a message as well, to send a message that, we are not threatening. Our children are not threats because they have on a hoodie or they went to the store and got a pack of Skittles and an iced tea. Um, and I feel that there is this misconception that, a few bad apples spoils the whole bunch. So we all get grouped into, this stereotype that we're just all bad. We're all animals. So, I honestly, because it's been so long and I'm knocking on 50, that I don't remember how we all connected. I think it started with a post and
On Facebook.
we just, yep, on Facebook. Yep. And we just all went from there. We did not know each other. We didn't know each other. And we all decided we want to do this. We want to do something. We want to take a stand. We want to stand with the family. And from there, I gained some brothers, and we worked so cohesively, so cohesively. We each had a duty. Gio, he was in charge of media. He had media contacts, and me, I'm more of a behind the scenes type of person. So, I was doing, I guess like the posts or flyers, if you will, and we each took, just different, we played off of each other's strengths is the best way that I could put it. And correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but we got this together and organized in less than 24 hours.
Yes, indeed.
Yep.
And for things of this nature, you have to have a permit. When there's there's going to be more than, I think it's 100 people or something of that nature, you have to get a permit. And I remember the day of the march, I got a private phone call. I was getting ready. I was getting my children ready, and I got a private phone call. And normally I don't answer those, but something told me to answer it. And it was Mayor Brown calling me personally and said, "Do you have a permit?" And I'm like, "No," but I'm thinking in my head, like, I don't care. You can't arrest all of us, but we had no idea how big the turnout was going to be. But I'm a little defiant in that aspect. If I want to do something, I'm going to do it. And especially if it's for a righteous cause, you're not going to stop me, and that was one of those situations where I'm like, if it's just me, I get arrested, but what he did was he said, "I'm going to issue you a temporary permit." Usually those permits take a week. And he said, "Can you come down and sign for this permit?" And I said, I can't right now. I'm trying to get ready. So I don't even know which one of us it was that actually signed for it. It was, I don't know, was it you, Skeeter?
Yes.
You did? Yes. Yep. So he signed for it. We were good to go. I was getting, phone calls from, I believe it was, I can't even think of his name, but he was one of the lieutenants, but he was in charge of like recreation and marches and rallies and things of that nature. But he called me and he said, "We have to have a police presence. We don't know how big this is going to be, but we have to have a police presence." And I know something that we were all very adamant about was that this was peaceful.
Yep.
We were very adamant in sharing with the public, this is a peaceful march.
Now,
And
go ahead.
yes.
Now,
So
I'll take you back a little bit.
yes.
Take you back
Told
a
you
little
I'm
bit.
getting older.
Me
getting
too.
older.
Don't worry. Hey, I'm 51 out here. Don't worry about it. But I'm gonna take you back a little bit. After the
Yes.
Trayvon Martin thing happened, we were all kind of disgusted with it. So, and we were wondering, why would this boy get killed for some Skittles and walking from the store innocently? But then it turned it. So we had made some posts. A lot of people made posts, and of course, my loudmouth, I'm gonna be the one that's outspoken out here. So I was making a lot of posts about things. So it started to hit me on, people were hitting me asking questions about Buffalo and all the killing in Buffalo of our teenagers. So I started my thought of my post started to go geared towards Buffalo killings and not so much Trayvon. It was all about Trayvon, but I started to make posts about, well, we need help right here in this city. And that's when you guys started to come on there and started to hit me about that. And that's when you were talking about you had 5 sons and this and that, this and that. And, this could be your kids. We were talking about the kids right here. So we decided, man, we need to do something. We need to have something, see if we can pull something off. So we all got on Facebook and started saying, let's do a rally for ourselves, because they were doing rallies around the nation. So let's do one here. And we started to post it. Let's do a rally on City Hall. And no, we didn't have a permit at the time. We didn't even know about getting a permit. We were just talking about rallying up on City Hall. Then it started to come back to us as, well, you're going to need a permit for this. And we were all pretty much like, man, I don't care about no permit. You're going to have to arrest me. So you can, right. Well, arrest us then. Arrest me. That's what that was the narrative of, we're coming down there anyways if we can get people to come. And if it's just us that come down, it's going to be us. But we'll be down there on City Hall. So that's when they started making them calls out as far as, you guys going to need a permit. We can get you one, but don't come down here without one, pretty much. But that was not a given. We were coming down there without one. So when they called you about that, we all got in touch. I went down, did the signing of it, so we were straight as far as that went. That's why we didn't get in trouble for it. But I was willing to be in trouble for it. But they're going to lock me up in for a day. I eat my little bologna sandwich and milk. I'm good. I would have been good for the night. So it was cool. Give me the little bench. Make sure I'm good. That's it. But besides that, it all came together in one day. And that's the amazing part to me, is that we really got these people out in one day. And Jill was able to put it out to like the media, the news, and all of that stuff, out to the news places, the newspaper. They got it through him. Davina was in the background doing everything she does with posting and going hard. I was the loudmouth, and Cambridge got the clergy into it. So he wound up, we was all 4 different parts. So it worked out perfectly. And like she said, we didn't really know each other like that. We just knew each other a little bit from Facebook, but I didn't know Gio. And me and Davina had conversations through Facebook before, but we never really knew each other personally. And Gio in Cambridge, I didn't know at all. But I wound up gaining some brothers and sisters, like you said, that day. Some people that really, really cared about what was going on. And hey, the footage shows we got it moving. So, and it was, like I said, it was about Buffalo, because even pushing, because Buffalo was bad at the time, very bad with the gun game, with the guns and killing. But now, it kind of subsided around 2018. But now we got a fighting problem going on with the kids, which I'll take fighting over guns any day. But now we got to figure out. I have a little plan on how we can get this. How the kids don't have anything to do nowadays, so we got to come back. When we grew up, we had the boys club, we had Father Bell, we had YMCA's, we had all of that. We weren't even in the streets. We were at the club. We was at the boys club. We was there. So they don't have that. They have nowhere to go. So even with like the fighting during the Juneteenth this year, yeah, I spoke on that a lot, because we got to figure out something for those kids to do. They can't just walk around the street in Juneteenth and have nothing for them. So I made suggestions like, for next year, let's put on like flag football for them. Let's have the basketball games. Let's have the drill team competition again. Got to engage these kids. So going back, that was kind of the same thing what we were speaking on. These kids need to have something to engage with. So when they all came out, when the people came out to fight for this, I was really proud and surprised, because I think it made a little bit of a change. It got people to understand that we can come together fast. But we should be able to come together fast like this for more things than tragedy.
Absolutely. Giovanni?
It's just, sorry, go ahead, Gio.
Yeah, I just remember I just came back from New York City 2 years earlier, and I remember dealing with stuff on Chippewa Street that made national news with the one nightclub down there. So I was involved with that. That's how I became friends with the media. And once this all happened and I saw everyone's post, I was like, yes, let's do this. Let's get involved. And I said, yet I contacts with all the stations, radio, and let's go for it. And it was amazing because the actual day of the event, I was running late. I was working at Main Place Mall until 5:30. I think our event started at 5, and it was already piling up at Lafayette Square. I had WBLK on because that's the station I told people to watch out for. It's right outside the studio. And they were saying, wow, so many people downstairs outside our studio. And I'm just like, count, I got to get out of here. And then once it was at City Hall, I walked down Court Street. It was just amazing. Everyone was there. It was very peaceful. I saw all the outlets there, media, everyone that was involved with it, and very good turnout. And that is historic right there, that amazing amount of people that were there.
Okay, well, speaking of which, let me add this to the stage, and we're gonna take a look back on it right now, and you can all feel free to add commentary, because when I started here, I'll give my part. When I started seeing the posts on Facebook, and I started trying to see everybody buying into the idea of coming down to that march on City Hall, I just decided that day to just grab my camera, come on down there, and do like I always do, chronicle history. Well, I don't always look at it as, you don't look at it as that at the time. Look at it as the cover. You don't look at the history when you look back on it now, and you're glad that you did it. But
Exactly.
I'd like to, but we can look back on this now and see and show everybody what the Million Hoodie marks actually look like, and feel free to add commentary on this as well. Start this from the beginning. It's got pictures and video.
Yeah, look at that.
Oh yeah.
Wow, we came out strong too. We came out very deep. Just looking back at this, is nostalgic just to see it. Like when I watched it, I went back the other day and I just kind of popped it up just to watch it. I haven't watched it in probably 5-6 years.
Yeah.
And it really just, the impact of it was great. Like this part, great unity right here.
It gives me chills, just going back to that day. And I mean, I think that we kind of had like a roundabout an estimate count, and it was about 800 people or so.
Look,
and
I've always rounded up to like a G.
Yep. There were people there, like rival gangs that were standing next to each other.
Wow.
And I just remember one of the clergy had, done a prayer. So to know that these rival gang members are standing next to each other, holding hands and praying, it still gives me chills. But that was just, it was so awesome. And I just get emotional every time I see it and think about it.
Yeah, just looking at that, when I was capturing that right there, that just blew my mind right there. I was like, wow, y'all really bought some stuff with it.
Yeah, this is a powerful scene. This is somewhat what I talk about now when I'm speaking on the unity of us. I speak on it every day about how we need to unify and do co-ops together instead of always trying to be in competition. This was no competition out here. It was no competition between the organizers. All of us was one. We were one fist. We were one solid fist, and we weren't an open hand. We was a solid fist. And I'm trying to get that for Buffalo. We're such a small city and a great city, man. I love my town, man. I love my city, and I live in other cities all the time. I lived in like 7 different cities, man. I love my city because I love my people, and I know my day ones, my grassroots friends. They are good people, man. In Buffalo, the Buffalo I grew up in the 80s and 90s was a great place, man. It really was a great place, and I just want to get it back to that.
Yeah, I think that, it's one thing to have the adults there, but to see the children.
Yes.
I brought mine, and, it just to see the children and to show them that the adults can be unified, that the adults care about their future, that the adults, want to protect them too. I think that was amazing. That was just absolutely amazing. My kids now, they're 10. My youngest one, he was little back then, but my kids, they still talk about that to this day. Mom, do you remember when we went down there? And I'm like, yeah, I remember that till the day I die.
That's
I've done other things since then. You know, um, a protest at C District a couple years ago. And then that got kind of big, and then it turned into a march, and I was like, well, that wasn't my plan, but hey, I'm going with it.
Let's roll, right?
And that was at a point in time where it was extremely um, volatile. It came on the heels of George Floyd, then it came on the heels of Quentin Suttles.
Yes.
And at the time, Carrie O'Horn, her whole pension situation. And, I'm just like, this is what I do. I care about my community. I don't have to personally know you. Excuse me. I don't have to personally know you, but you're my brother. You're my sister. I'm very big on it takes a village. I'm that lady that sits on her porch and kids go walking by and I'm like, how's school going? If I see him doing something, hey, I don't think you should do that. Now we're gonna go talk to your mom. I'm one of those. So,
we don't have that a lot now. Most people say it's not any of my business.
Yep. Or don't say anything to my kids. I'm not like that. You see my kids out here doing something, get them and then call me while you're getting them, because I'm gonna be on my way to get them too.
That's right. That's what we're lacking right now.
Yep. And that's how I was raised. I was raised where shopkeeper, whooped me because I chased my dog like blocks and blocks and blocks. And I was like 4 years old. And then he called my mom. And then my mom came. So,
exactly.
But it's I think it's just very important for Buffalo to see and to remember that, like Willie said, we're not in competition. We should not be in competition. We've already got enough. Right. Yep. We already have enough going against us, just as a community, and there just always needs to be that unity.
But there might be a big change happening in City Hall coming up. They possibly got brown politics up out of here with Scanlon not winning. So, brown politics after 20 years might be over with. So we'll see. We'll see what happens in November. But there might be a couple changes. We need the East Side. On my show, on Stop Me If I'm Lying, I've been preaching heavy about the East Side. I've been telling the mayor, I've been telling the governor, definitely trying to talk to Kathleen Hacho. We've been trying to get in touch with her lately. We want to get her on the show if we can, either whether it's by phone or not. But we've been talking unity. Yeah, look at that picture. There go one right there. They gave us some plaques for this. I still got my dad has mine actually.
Mine is actually on my wall.
Yeah, my dad has mine. So it was like giving them an MVP football trophy.
Look at us, boy.
Right now we're speaking on the unity right now and co-ops and the city of Buffalo and how the Halal have come in. The Halal have come in and they've bought up everything, which I'm not mad at them at all because but people think that they're doing it. One person is buying up this building. No, 8 people buying that building and they're buying all the supermarkets. They're putting it in. They're changing the culture all the way to the fact of they're even allowed to vote now. They all came in and got registered to vote early because the next 4 years they're going to start running for office. So they're trying to take over.
There was one who was running for office with the last election. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah, that is definitely coming.
Yep.
Yeah, it's definitely coming. They're going to be running for office now. And all I tell us is no one's really stopping us, y'all. We're stopping ourselves from doing things because we're so in competition with each other. I want to have co-ops. We need, if we're gonna open up a store, it need to be 4 of us. We're not worried about who's gonna get the most money. It don't have to be Willie Pugh's supermarket. I just want it to be the supermarket. I don't need to be
Yeah.
known as the owner of the supermarket.
Right.
And that's what we need more of.
Yep. Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick because it slipped my mind a little while ago because we got to talking about something else. But after the march, I think
Right.
all of
Okay.
us, yep, after the march was over with and everybody went home, we were still on like this high. We were still, just we were amped. We were like, okay, we got to keep the momentum going. We got to keep, doing something. And I remember we all discussed going back to what Willie has said about the kids not having anything to do. We were talking about finding some sort of an abandoned building, an abandoned school, or something, and opening up a community center, but one that would stay open later because the majority of the community centers, they close at a certain time.
Right.
And then it's kind of like, what are the kids supposed to do after that? Um, and the issue that we ran into, well, one of the issues that we ran into was security.
Yep.
And, we discussed about possibly having, an off-duty police officer, we were trying to figure out a solution. And, I mean, ultimately, I think, life kind of happened. So we just all kind of went and did our own thing. But that was definitely something that we're discussing.
And that's back on the table. That is back on the table, Davina. We are looking into doing that right now. I'm trying to put together, as on the show we were talking about, we're trying to put together a financial center that will teach the kids and adults about finance. We don't have a finance class. Nobody knows about credit. Nobody knows that we can stocks and bonds and mutual funds, and you don't have to be rich to do that. We can do it with our thousands. We don't have to have millions to do it. We can change our thousands into 10,000s, our 10,000s into 100,000s. We can do that. We can change our hundreds into thousands by knowing how to do it. I'm looking at North Tonawanda High School right now. Not North Tonawanda, Lancaster. My bad. Lancaster High School. I hear they have a ticker in the school now, a stock market ticker. That means those kids are learning this from day one. We need that. We need that financial learning in our hood. So right now we're still trying to do it. I'm definitely gonna pull y'all in, definitely do it, because me and Kelly Holder Lucci right now are meeting to try to pull this together. And if we got to do it at a community center first, and then eventually try to get grants or something to get us a building, but we want to start like a strictly a financial learning center for the hood, and get grants where they can come for free. They can come. I'm talking about you have teach the kids about it in layman's terms for them, and then we give it to our adults who don't know anything about it either, and we let them know how to invest your money, because right now most of us have investments in like Vanguard through your 401k, but you don't really know how it works. You might have a mutual fund in there, but you don't really know how it works. You're just hoping that it makes some money for you as you get old. But I want to teach the kids and the adults in the hood, and this is for anybody that lives in the hood. It's for outside the hood too, if you just don't know. But I need this center in the city, and I need people to come to that, because we need to learn that stuff. We can't mess up our credit at 20 years old. You get to college, the first thing they give you is a credit card, and you go buy 5 pairs of Jordans with it, and you owe for them Jordans when you're 50 years old.
Right.
I know, trust me. I was all up at Syracuse buying everything.
Yep, I'm telling you.
Really, I got another part of that. I got your part at the Hoodie March. Let me pull that up right quick. I just saw it. Here we go. There you go.
Oh, they done gave a loudmouth a megaphone.
If we can all come together, man, like this, we can come together on other issues. We got to come up with
Sound like I'm speaking right now.
Yeah.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the mission, y'all. That's the mission, is to get that going. To get to Juneteenth, to get some activities going at the Juneteenth. So we're in the midst of changing that. We're in the midst of trying to get this financial situation going so we can have a classes for them to go to, like I said, free of charge. And right now, like Kenny Ferguson and my man Terrence Reed, young boy, they got basketball leagues going on for the kids they have, and for the adults too. But just things that we got to put it back in. I'm refereeing football right now for the little league because I used to coach, but I'm in the refereeing now, so I can still keep my hand in the game and with these kids. So I'm refereeing the 8-year-olds to the 13-year-olds. You got to have somebody. Then you got to talk to them too. You got to. We have seminars during those games. Right after the games, we sit down and talk to all the teams about the violence out here and about how to be a good citizen. And you don't have to follow everything this music is telling you. The music is really bad nowadays. It was bad when we
Yeah.
grew up, so now it's even worse. At least we did have a variety. For every Little Kim and Foxy Brown, we had Queen Latifah and MC Light to balance it out.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We don't have that anymore. Little boys have no fear and little girls have no shame right now. So the new kids. I'm 50 years old. I can only do this for so long. I need a smooth 30-year-old right now to follow us. I need a 25-year-old to start following what we're doing, what we're talking about, because they're the future. Bring it on, keep it going. Now, we're not old enough to not to get it started, but we're gonna be old. We're gonna be too old to finish it. So we need some of these kids to follow the lead that we're talking about and take it over eventually. That's what we try and do with the Juneteenth right now. Like Doug said, his father was originated with my uncle Bill Gator. That's what he's my uncle.
Okay. Absolutely.
So, right. So they started this. Now then you had like Marnetta and them. They came along after.
Yes.
Now it's up to us to continue it, and now we need somebody to follow up on it. And the same thing with this march. We may not pull off another march like this, but with this being like this interview right now, I'm going to use this to springboard the same things that I'm talking about now. We were talking about in 2012. So,
Yeah.
and we need to still make these changes, y'all. And it can happen. I was highlighting yesterday, all weekend. I had a party this weekend on Friday. It was a party Saturday. It was a pool party Sunday, and everything went off without a hitch, y'all. Everything. We was a boat ride too. I went on the boat ride yesterday, but everything went off without a hitch. I said I haven't seen a weekend in Buffalo where every event was perfect, no violence, no fighting, no shooting, no anything. Everything went off without a hitch. And I said we got to normalize that because we shouldn't even be talking about how great of a weekend it was when it should just be a great weekend every weekend.
Yeah, and I can't remember.
Right.
I was looking at your stuff, Will. I said to myself, man, I hadn't been on a boat ride since I left Buffalo.
Exactly. And I got to put it in my own little. I got to put it in my own little way. So if I say it all nice to the people, they don't respond. So I got to give them a little edge first, and then they all want to jump on me. But I can take the heat. So, but I get the voice. I get a little heat because I got to say it a certain way because that get them on there. So I'm sort of shock and awe, right? You give them a little shock, and they come on. He'd be like, "Oh, okay, come on and talk now."
All right. Anybody else have anything else to add before we close?
No,
I do want to say I appreciate you. I didn't even know that footage was out there. So when Gio shared it with me, I was like, wait, what? Where did this come from?
That's the first time I saw it too.
Oh wow, for real?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Okay, well, you know what? I'll send it to both of y'all inboxes if y'all don't have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Old archives. I forgot. Sometimes I just forget I had that.
I forgot all about it was there too. I said I watched it recently after about 5-6 years ago. I haven't watched it, and that's when I actually posted it because I posted it up recently because I forgot. I didn't forget about it, but I haven't watched it.
I forgot what tape I even recorded that on. I'm going to run around here and look through some of my stuff tonight and see if I can find the original cleaner footage of it.
Oh yeah, okay. Well, definitely, if you can find that,
Yeah.
definitely let us know and send that out to us, man. 'Cause we definitely it's something I keep in my archives now forever.
Yeah, man. That was
Yep.
an honor to
Because
do that.
the only footage that I knew of was, like the news, like
Okay.
the news media. That was the only ones that I knew of. And then just little, like snippets that I took, and I think we all might have taken, little video snippets and everything. And just the still pictures, because I think we were all just all over the place. So, but it's definitely something to be proud of. So I appreciate that you shared that with us. Appreciate that you reached out.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
So
appreciate you, Doug. We definitely appreciate you, man. Thank you.
mm-hmm.
We
Absolutely.
appreciate you for putting us on right now on your platform and allowing us to revisit this, because it's still pertinent right now. It's still relevant right now. So this information I'm going to use for right now. Right at this
Absolutely.
present day, I'm using the same video, the same information right now. And if you guys, Gio, Davina, if y'all want to come on, Doug's already gonna come on one time. If you guys want to come on the show anytime, stop me if I'm lying. I do it Thursdays at 6 p.m. down at WUFO 96.5. If y'all want to come on, man, y'all more than welcome to come on the show anytime. Give me a hit. I'll get you on the show. You can talk about what you need to talk about. I'll open it up. The platform is yours.
I appreciate that. I'm gonna hold you to it, because I got some gripes. I got some gripes with this housing stuff now. I didn't turn into a housing advocate. So
bring it. We need to talk about that.
Yep.
Yeah.
We need to talk about it. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Scanlon about it. He said, before we go real quick, I put a little food up, give y'all a little food right now. And he said, each lot that's out here, all these empty lots, they're going for $1,000 right now, but you got to have a plan for it. You got to have a business plan and a financial plan for it. So I'm trying to get people to co-op right now. It's only 1,000, but if we can get 5 people to get the lot for 200 apiece, and we just all own the lot and we put a garden on it. Put a greenhouse on it. I mean, we got to have a plan for it, but I don't suggest everybody try to do it individually. Let's all gang up and get these lots. So let's try to get some of these lots. So I'm going to look into that while you're doing this housing thing. We might be able to find some lots, and we might be able to build some houses.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. So
Let me know.
I'll be in touch with you. Matter of fact, inbox me. Both of y'all inbox me your phone numbers.
Will do.
Okay, love y'all, man. Thank you, Doug.
All right, thank you all for being on the Buffalo History Channel. And Willie, I'm gonna be there with you and Tony on Stop Me If I'm Lying in September when I'm back in Buffalo.
Yes, sir. I'm looking forward to it.
All right.